r/ask Reddit. What were weird myths you thought about sex as a kid? Sex lasts all night. Like you go into bed and then it is happening until sunrise. When I was 18 verging, my BF said he can perform for 4 hours long. And it sounds okay to me. Oh, how wrong I was. When guys get hard-ons, it was because it filled with sperm, and if a guy couldn't get hard it meant he had no sperm. Wondering what happens when you really don't have sperm. Do you get all the orgasm and jumpy dong just with no sperm? A lot of the fluid comes from other places like your prostate, so you'll still have semen, just not sperm. I thought penises grew pubic hair on their tip, like a lion's tail. I also thought all doggy style sex was anal sex. Wait, you guys don't have a luxurious mane around the tip? Imagine trying to shave it. Since I have only one sibling, that meant my parents only did it 2 times. I thought oral sex was literally oral, as in, talking dirty. I was so shocked to learn the truth. I love it when you talk dirty at it. Hey there, little guy. I thought gay people had sex by bumping their butts together. Haha, yeah, that would be so crazy if that was how they did it, is it not? I heard the word lesbian for the first time at camp when I was 8, and when I asked what it meant I was told that it was a girl who sleeps in a bed with other girls. I took that to heart and understood the word as a negative, so I was pretty uncomfortable with sharing beds at sleepovers for a while. Also, when she was little, someone I went to high school with believed that a woman became pregnant when a married couple put forth a formal wish to God for a baby. After a long time of begging her parents to give her a new sibling, they gave her the good news. She didn't believe them, and made them wish out loud in front of her for a baby. Her mom had twins and she thought it was her fault for making them wish a second time. The twins thing is actually an adorable story though. I thought you literally could not have sex before marriage. It couldn't happen. The vagina would reject the penis like water and oil. I didn't think this, but I thought you could only get a girl pregnant if you were married. Little did I know, I was born a good 8 months before my parents got married. My sister thinks sex is 2 people laying naked on top of each other and talking about marriage. Depending on her age, that's either really cute or really disturbing. She's 37 and addicted to heroin. The guy stuck it in there and just kinda stayed there until the baby was made. Didn't know about the whole thrusting thing. I thought the baby just began making itself once you got married and the guy had to insert his dong while the woman was in labor to unlock it and let the baby out. You stick your dong inside and the baby just starts crawling out, gasping for air. I thought sperm were the size of tadpoles. I thought they shot out and filled up the condom like a water balloon and you would be able to see and hear them slithering and wriggling around. Needless to say, I was scared of sexual maturity for a while. I completely forgot I used to think this too until I just read your comment. I thought one big sperm wiggled out and became the baby. As a kid I thought kissing on the lips made babies, and apparently so did a lot of other people. I remember being really little and looking in a mirror and noticing I had a pudgy belly. I became terrified that I was pregnant. I was legit like 6 years old. All I could think of was that my dad kissed me, so that must have gotten me pregnant. I have no idea why I would think this or how I finally realized it wasn't true. My parents were very open about sex and taught me about it when I was 4. Of course at 4 it doesn't all make sense. So I thought women only had one hole to do everything. I also thought that boys had periods. When I was 7 or so I got a cut in my ass. I needed a shit and accidentally cut my ass wound in the process. When I went to flush I saw the blood and told my dad that I was on my period. He was obviously confused. Edit. Thanks for the likes. Let's try get to 10k. This is the most popular post I've made by far. I thought I was dying during my first orgasm because the church tells you you're not supposed to touch yourself. I even started crying, but I didn't tell anyone, lol. That post nut hit you hard. Damn. Fully thought if you had sex and vagina it would be a girl and up the bum would be a boy. My dumbus. For other reasons too, not just this. Friend tried to tell me when I was like 10 that the position of sex, missionary v. doggy determined if the baby would be a girl or boy. I was like, don't think that's right, but she was so insistent. I hope she grew up okay. but I'm not sure. When I was really young, I thought the vagina was shaped like a perfect cylindrical hole. This was before sex ed, of course. Everyone knows it's like a rectangular prism. A woman should have an orgasm as well to become pregnant, but in hindsight, it wouldn't have been bad if it were true. In the book Boink by Mary Roach, she talks about all sorts of research done on all aspects of sex, and one study says it helps if the woman orgasms. Something about the muscle contractions pulling sperm further inside. I heard about sheepskin or lambskin condoms when I was a kid and for some reason imagined a guy wrapping one of my rabbit pelts around his dong and trying to get that into a woman. Never occurred to me they'd just use the skin and not the whole hide. They aren't made from sheepskin at all. They are made from part of the sheep's intestine. I thought any TV show I saw that wasn't a cartoon, or at least the majority of them, were entirely sex-related movies or shows, because anytime I would ask my parents to watch them, they would say I wouldn't understand, and they also said that whenever I asked about sex-related things. So I grouped it all together that anything that my parents told me I'd understand when I'm older was entirely about sex. I always thought homosexual meant that you like to have sex at home. I was trying to sound cool at summer camp when I was around 12, so I told everyone I was homosexual. All of the girls started hanging out with me and I thought all the guys were avoiding me because they were jealous. I realized my mistake later in the summer and never went back to that camp or talked to anyone there again. I had no clue what ejaculation was in 5th grade, so I though the thing went in and stayed there for like the whole night, 7 hours or something. Then the baby appeared. I used to think the same thing. I was always confused on how you would have sex while sleeping. I assumed you just had to get lucky and roll over top your partner in your sleep. In elementary, a kid asked me if I knew what a condom was. I went ahead and described a nicotine patch. When I started masturbating, I thought if I kept doing it, my testicles would shrink to nothing. I thought women just got pregnant at a certain age. Whenever I pictured two people having sex, I imagined the guy doing the worm on top of a woman. That you just put your dong inside a woman and then the sperm starts flowing continuously, like pee. Oh, and that you actually have to push the sperm out yourself, like pee. You learn to do that when you get old enough. And that involuntary ejaculations during night happen only a few times until you learn to ejaculate yourself. Like fueling up your car. I thought that sex was about getting naked in bed and rolling around in the sheets. I am gonna explain to those replying to me. When I was a kid, my mom handed a book from the government which explained a lot of things. It showed a man and a woman naked, but with their parts covered in pubic hair. A lot of pubic hair. I thought that was disgusting. But one day, I would have to have sex. So I thought, if when I sleep I wake up in a different position, if I got naked and slept with my partner, after rolling around in the bed I would eventually have sex. This way, I wouldn't have to come close to that disgusting pubic hair. Or the woohoo, as the Sims call it. Definitely thought blowjob was literal, like she blows into it like a kazoo. Was racked with guilt about masturbation and wet dreams because of all the babies. I had a friend who thought the same about peeing. Also, sex freaked me out because I thought she had like a tube or something in her vagina that was supposed to go in my penis hole. I was not aware of the vagina having an access to an inside before I hit puberty, so I thought sex was, well, anal, and that birth was basically shitting a baby out. So anytime I was having a hard time with number 2 in the bathroom, I would try to motivate myself that I'm basically practicing the pain for childbirth, and that it could be so much worse. When I was a freshman in high school, an older male friend told me a man's penis could burst if he didn't empty out his sperm often enough and got too backed up. I used to think the tip of the penis just lined up with the clit and it like suctioned, I guess. IDK. I also freaked out and thought something was wrong when my labia started to appear and thought it was because I masturbated too much and I was scared to tell my mom. She most definitely would have explained it to me if I had asked. Then a few years later at my first pap smear I asked the doctor about it and she had to explain to me what it was. Twins are a result of having sex with a pregnant woman. Thought that babies were made by the kiss at the wedding, as in, you may kiss the bride, boom, pregnant. Also thought that you weren't allowed to kiss until marriage, and this was why. Mini Tifu. When my brother had proposed to his wife-to-be, we had a little celebration at a local restaurant. They kissed during dinner, which prompted me to look at her knowingly and say, good thing you on those pills, hug. Wouldn't want to get pregnant too early. I was 8. One of the darkest moments of my life. My friend told me when we were 7 that having sex was touching butts with a girl. Accidentally touched butts with a girl in the pool later and thought I had had sex. Took me a few years to figure it out. I had to. My friend in elementary told me that your testicles were the actual seed, so you basically had to pass a walnut-sized object through your penis when you had sex, and you only had 2 shots. I was terrified for a while. I also legit thought the vagina was in the front, like the penis, until I was probably 8 or so. When I was a wee lad, I thought that bumming was 2 men stood back to back, gently but playfully bouncing their naked buttocks off each other. That if you removed a rib you could suck your own dong because of rumors regarding Marilyn Manson in the 90s. I was 7, I didn't have a clue what it meant, and had no internet to confirm otherwise. Getting told that the baby comes out of your butt as well, as if someone put their finger in your belly button. Always thought how and why. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.